Hey kids, welcome to Unit 1, Lesson 9, Loops, Exercise number 1. Let's look at what we have to do today. What do you think this program does? Well, over here, we are importing our painter class that we've been doing for a while. We have our class header, my neighborhood. We have our method header. We're creating an object, Painter Plus. That's this subclass over here. And this is the one we created that also turns right. And we are moving our Painter Plus. Then we have this while loop here. If you think back to CSP, you can probably remember we used a for loop for the create task. It was one of the critical parts of it. And a for loop is really used when you know the definite amount of loops or iterations happening. But we're going to learn of a different type of loop. This is going to be the while loop. And it works a lot like the for loop. And it's just a lot of subtle differences. Example, the while loop is used when we don't know the iterations. For example, I bet we could use this to maybe pick up paint. While we're on a bucket, we could pick up paint. We don't know if there's 1 bucket or 5 buckets of paint there. A while loop doesn't have a built-in control variable. That means we cannot declare the I equals 0 as long as I is less than 0, I plus plus. So that's a little difference right there. Really what that means is a for loop, while we can certainly get an infinite loop, we usually have a set amount of times we're going to run it and then return something, whether that be a number or through a list. A while loop, on the other hand, is just going to run an infinite amount of times until some condition is met. So if you really want to know the difference between the two, for, you know exactly how many times this loop is going to run. You want to iterate through specific parts. While, you don't know how many times you want to go through, so you just want it to run until some condition is met. That's going to be the key part of this lesson. Well, understanding those differences, this looks like it says, while my painter object is on a paint bucket, it's going to take the paint. That means it's going to move, probably pick up these 5 here, and then while it has paint, it's going to move and paint white. Means it should move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots and paint there, because it has 5 buckets of paint. That's what I think is going to happen. Let's take a minute here and just talk about what you should be putting into this little box. What you see here is what I get a lot of answers for lessons. Well, what does this program do? Paint. You're technically right, but that's not what I'm looking for. We're looking for specifics. I'm looking for something that says the painter will move forward once. Then, while it is on a paint bucket, it will pick up that paint. There is 5 buckets of paint. It'll pick up 5 buckets of paint. And while it has that paint, it's going to move forward and paint a white block. Means it's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps forward, painting white blocks. That means your answer should look something similar, but not exactly, to this. Let's go ahead and hit run and see if we're right. And you can see the painter did exactly what I thought it would do. Key takeaways for this lesson. Key takeaways are really what a while loop is. And the best way to understand this while loop is understanding the differences between something we probably already know, which is a for loop. Again, they work very similar, except a for loop, you know how many iterations there are going to be. Remember this little piece of code? And a while loop, you don't know how many iterations there are going to be. It just runs until that condition is true. Again, they work very similar. And finally, with this lesson, it's to be specific about what this program does. The CSA test is not an easy test. And as I've said in other videos, things we practice today become the habits we're going to have tomorrow. If we start being specific now with these easy programs and questions, it's going to be a lot easier when we get to the difficult stuff. So again, be specific when answering these questions. Hopefully this video helped you understand what a while loop was a little better. As always, if you have any questions, come see me. Otherwise, kids, I'll see you on the next lesson. See you later, kids. Bye. Bye.